this amazing optics experience, and they said it's simple. You can see it's quite far from simple. We have 32 layers in this optics stack. And I challenge you, when you take a look at Magic Leap 2, to try to figure out how they crammed 32 layers into that stack. But each of these layers serves a distinct purpose. It makes for that world-class display, world-class experience that you're going to have. Like I mentioned, we doubled the size of the field of view. And once you see it, it's really hard to go back. It's about 66 degrees diagonal for those of you keeping score. And again, I encourage you to go try it out for yourself and see what a difference that expanded field of view makes. So I talked about our new dimming technology. This is a totally unique display technology, and it works in two different ways. This video will show you how it works. But the first is global dimming. That's uniformly dimming down the entire display. It helps make all the digital content pop. It can make the background environment fade away. We can actually block up to 99.7% of the light that's coming in from the outside world. The second way is even more interesting. Instead of dimming the entire display, you can actually choose specific segments of the display, specific pieces of content that you want to highlight and make it stand out from the background environment. You think about highlighting a menu or a particular 3D model or an X-ray that you need to see, and you don't want the background to distract from that. You can just highlight that piece and block out the background environment. And again, you can control it from all the way down to seeing nothing in the background. We always talk about having superpowers, and this technology might let you take that messy work environment that you have and block out a few of those things that you don't want to see, replace it with a nice clean work area. And so you can use it for all kinds of interesting and amazing things. So we're really excited to see what developers are going to do with this capability. We have more than 18 cameras and sensors in the device. This lets you, collect information about the world around you. In order to really give you an immersive AR experience, we need to blend that physical and digital together, which means you need to understand what the environment is around you. So we use a combination of data from all of these different sensors to do that. And when you combine that with our built-in speakers, microphones that deliver amazing spatial audio quality, it's hard to believe that we've crammed all of this into such a small package. It's not just enough to collect all that sensor data. You have to take it and make sense out of it. And so we've partnered with AMD to deliver an incredibly powerful compute platform. It's 2 to 3 times more powerful than Magic Leap. It gives application developers a whole lot of horsepower to work with, to deliver very high quality, very intelligent applications. We've also created a custom 14-core computer vision engine that lets us offload a lot of the compute from the CPU or the GPU and process all of that real-time sensor information that's coming in from our cameras without putting a load and extra strain on the CPU. So that frees up as much of that quad-core AMD CPU for your application developers to use. We've also included quite a bit more RAM and hard drive space so that you can build more advanced applications. Magic Leap's controller. We've added an entirely new optical tracking system to the controller, in addition to the existing infrared tracking system that you might be used to seeing. That means that you can use the controller outside of the field of view of the device, and it continues to work. It knows where its position is in the world. You can use it behind your back or behind your head, and the controller can still track where it is in the world. It also has an IMU, so you can collect all kinds of other information about the movements that users are making through that accelerometer, gyroscope, magnetometer, bringing all of that information together, fusing it all together, and letting you utilize that in your applications. So I want to talk about developer experience. We've got a lot of developers here, right? One of the things that we've done at Magic Leap is make a commitment to building open, fair ecosystems. That means committing to open standards, interoperability. We're always on the lookout for ways to adopt and adapt to emerging standards and best practices from the developer community. One of the most significant changes that we've made is rebuilding our operating system from the ground up to utilize Android open source project. So using AOSP, it lets developers use a familiar set of APIs and take advantage of a lot of those capabilities that Android open source gives us right out of the box. And we want to make it extremely easy for you to build and port applications to Magic Leap 2. This also has some great benefits for enterprise users. They can use their existing device management systems, VPN clients, other utilities, and we'll get into that in a little bit here. Again, Magic Leap, we're committed to open standards. We announced yesterday that we'll be adopting OpenXR, that we're making a commitment to move in that direction and have full conformance sometime in early 2023. So you can expect that to be coming your way, and hopefully we'll have a preview of that soon for you to check out. But again, this doesn't stop here. As new standards emerge, as we figure out other ways to collaborate across all of these different platforms that are being developed, Magic Leap's firmly committed to supporting those. We've taken a developer-first approach. We want to put developers at the heart of everything that we do. Developers make this platform successful. The things that you build, the things that you create, are the things that companies need to solve the problems that they have, and to get that return on investment of adopting a new technology platform. So we've talked about developers, we've talked about the device. Let's talk a little bit about the enterprise, right? Magic Leap is focused on enterprise users. And that means taking this technology and using it to do essential work. But one thing that I've always loved about Magic Leap is our commitment to respecting our users and their privacy. We know how challenging it can be to bring a device with all of these sensors, all of these cameras, it's collecting all this information, to bring that into a sensitive environment or your workplace where you might be worried about the type of information that it's capturing. So we've completely redesigned our approach to managing your information on the device and inside of your networks. One of the things we've done, because we've adopted Android open source, is we can support all kinds of third-party device management systems. We've already partnered with VMware to make sure that Workspace ONE works on day one. And we've designed everything in our OS to let you decide what applications and policies go onto your devices. You decide when to roll out OS updates, and so much more. Because we're AOSP under the hood, it's as simple as scanning a QR code on the first boot up, just like if you're managing an Android smartphone. And so for other MDM vendors that are interested in supporting Magic Leap, let's talk. We want to make it as easy as possible for you to get started. Building a shared understanding of the world around you, that's essential for high-quality AR experience. And with Magic Leap 1, we led the way creating a service that lets you scan and map and collect information about the world and recall it instantly across multiple devices. We've continued to refine that technology, and now we've packaged it up in a way, a set of services that you run inside of your infrastructure, not ours. So we've done all the heavy lifting to build a version of AR Cloud that can aggregate all of that sensor information from your fleet of devices and put it to work, but you stay in control. Magic Leap wants you to set the rules on where and how that information gets used, where you run those AR Cloud workloads. You can run them wherever you want. Your data never comes back to Magic Leap. We're very seriously committed to you staying in control of that data. And AR Cloud, it's not just for Magic Leap devices and services. We want to provide interfaces to other devices and other back-end integrations to create that two-way flow of information into other systems so that we can help you take advantage of this information and do all kinds of interesting things that we could never imagine. And again, as standards emerge, we're committed to integration and interoperability with other platforms. So wrapping up here, and I've left a few minutes for questions if you all want to ask some. We're focused on businesses who need to solve real problems, who have that essential work to get done. And that's going to continue to drive the industry forward. We're in the early access period with Magic Leap 2, and we've had some amazing developers come in and experiment and learn what they can do with Magic Leap 2. We're working with medical companies who are doing augmented surgery training, who are able to change the outcome of the surgeries that they're doing by preparing ahead of time, by going deep, by having unbelievable access to the information in a spatial and much more human way that prepares them to do that difficult surgery, to be focused when the time comes to save somebody's life. And Magic Leap 1 has already been used to do that type of training to save lives. And we're very excited about the other healthcare partners that we're talking to, how they're going to put this technology to work. It doesn't stop there. We're working with industry to look at all kinds of different training, see what I see cases, being able to capture knowledge from workers who might be leaving the industry and share that experience forever with the people that come in behind them. We've seen rapid acceleration of knowledge sharing by capturing, not just writing down information or how you might do it, but actually capturing the motions, the actions that people are taking. How do I assemble this part? How do I go in and repair this difficult and tricky piece of equipment that maybe only a handful of people in the world know how to do? We're able to capture, replay that information, and share it with others in a natural way to consume that information. And we're really excited to see what the rest of you, what developers are going to do and take this technology and deliver amazing world-changing solutions that we can't even imagine yet. So we're here to give you that infrastructure, to be that foundation that you can take and put to work. So like I said, I left a few minutes. I can probably take a couple of questions. So if you've got questions, there's a microphone on each aisle, and I'm happy to answer what I can today. But thank you. Go ahead, we can get you both.
I have a question. Are you planning global expansion for Magic Leap 2 initial start, or is it going to be just localized to the Americas at the moment?
I can't answer that question right now. We'll have some more details that we'll share very soon about our go-to-market strategy. But Magic Leap is a global device.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Really impressed with this talk, and I'm curious about that AR Cloud solution that you're offering. Seems like you offer that enterprises can own their own AR clouds. Can you provide some more details about that? Is it local coordinate systems? Is it geospatial? What kind of data do the enterprise get?
Sure. We're going to be sharing a lot more detailed information very soon about that. But in general, it's currently about mapping and scanning that environment, being able to place spatial anchors, and have that full control of how those anchors are propagated across your devices and in your environment. But we spoke yesterday, and we'll keep talking about how to put OpenAI Cloud to work with Magic Leap.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, over here.
Hello. Hi, I really love the presentation. I saw that in the images, the Magic Leap was very close to the face, and I was curious from an accessibility standpoint, will glasses be able to use with the device, or do you need special lenses? And if you could talk about that.
Yeah, that's a really great question, and I neglected to mention that, so thanks. Because of the design of Magic Leap, it's so close to your eyes, it does require that you have prescription inserts for that. And so for people who want to test the device, you'll be able to use our lens kit and snap those in. We've got some common prescriptions, but you'll have the ability to get custom prescriptions made, and those magnetically fit seamlessly inside the device.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I apologize, I missed the first part of your presentation, but if you've already covered this, can you touch on clean room capabilities, sanitation of the device, being able to use in, say, pharma clean rooms? We'll release some more information about how to use that in those type of environments. As far as sanitation, we do have a sanitation process that we're using even for doing demos that can cover it. It may not be the industrial level that you're talking about, but talk to me afterwards and we'll get a little bit more into that. And we probably got time for one more question.
Hi, yes. On the image showing the AR cloud, there were indications of sensor data, like temperature and those kind of things. Is there anything you can share more on how that fits into the AR cloud model?
Sure, yeah. I mean, our devices have the ability to collect a lot of that information, but it's not just Magic Leap devices that we want to include into AR Cloud. It's bringing in information from IoT devices, from industrial machines in the environment, being able to take all of that and build that really detailed understanding of the digital twin. It's not just how it looks, but all of the other information, that invisible part of the world. We want to be able to capture that and expose that to other applications. Yeah, last question.
Hi, great presentation. I had a question. I'm assuming that this is meant to be used for a whole day, so can you talk about the battery life and such?
Yeah, again, we'll release some more details about battery life, but it should be similar to Magic Leap 1, which was about 3.5 hours. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of AWE.
Hello, hello. Yeah. Okay, they moved my mic. I left Thursday morning because of the anticipation of the show floor opening. So I know promptly at 11, this room is going to empty out. So I'm going to do all of our housekeeping announcements now. Bear with me. AWE Live, download the app on the mobile site. Put together your own agenda, find exhibitors, and connect with other attendees. My personal recommendation is to use the website. The app is very frustrating. Just saying. The coffee break is sponsored by Care AR. Thank you, Care AR. Free coffee starting at 10. That's in just a little while. Expo Hall, as I said, opens at 11, runs till 5:30. There's a happy hour sponsored by Varjo, 5:30 to 6:45 inside of the playground, which is a smaller exhibit hall off of the main hall. Tonight is the coveted Augie Awards announcement ceremony. So you can watch them here on the main stage at 7 p.m. and then catch the bus to the after party, which is sponsored by TikTok, 8 to 11 Sushi Confidential in San Jose. And you get 2 complimentary drink tickets, and there will be food. Let's see, tomorrow's special events. There's a wrap-up and Best in Show announcement in this room at 3:45 tomorrow. Food is available for purchase at Hyatt and various outlets throughout the convention center. Credit card sales only. The AWE team, of course, encourages you to post on social media, hashtag AWE 2020. A reminder that all sessions are being recorded and will be made available for all in-person and virtual attendees on the AWE.live platform after the event. Oh yeah, Wi-Fi sucks. Password welcome. The AWE team would like to thank our Gold sponsors for their support. So here's the list: Arbor XR, Niantic, TikTok, HoloLight, Care AR, SOAR, HP, Metrodome, Metamaterials, Meta, and Snap. And an extra big thank you to the Titanium sponsors, Avataar, Magic Leap, Qualcomm, and Unity Technologies. Speaking of avatars, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Sravanth Aluru. He's the founder and CEO of Avataar. I know that sounds like it's a company that makes avatars, but that is actually not what Avataar does. They do AI, and it's an AI and computer vision platform, and their mission is to democratize 3D. So small ambition for Aluru and his team, and it's my pleasure to introduce him.
Thank you so much, Charlie. I appreciate the introduction, and a very good morning to everyone. It's a privilege to be on the stage and my pleasure to have your time and mind share. But a little bit on me. Let me just get a little bit on me before I set the context on my talk today, which is, like Charlie said, alluded to, our mission is to democratize 3D. I started my journey as a computer vision fanatic, if you will. My passion for AI and computer vision started at Microsoft. This was early 2000s. If you remember those multiplayer tennis games, with the Kinect, which was a depth sensor sitting on top of Xbox. And that's where I'd say I truly discovered the potential of convergence of AI and computer vision that I'm going to refer to a lot in the talk ahead. Went on to do my B school at Wharton, spent about 6 years as a tech investment banker. I'd say this is where destiny knew my fate before I did. Saw literally a lot of tech majors putting a lot of organic and inorganic investments into upgrading the computing platform, that's a flat device that we carry today called a mobile, into something that's a wearable, perhaps a chip in the brain if Elon Musk succeeds, but The idea being that a life-size visual discovery experience coming, where the digital web would likely superimpose onto the physical reality that we share. And that's honestly where the vision for Avataar started for me. A better way to maybe present my background is I've literally seen the camera evolve in its intelligence from capture, which was perhaps the initial use case of capturing the physical reality. Remember the selfies? Evolved into something where a camera with an AI and a computer vision layer behind it. This was the convolutional networks and the advent of deep learning, if you will, where the camera started the ability to detect and understand the space around it, right? What we're doing at Avataar today is literally taking it to the next level, which is how do we let the camera augment, but not just augment, manipulate the physical reality, right? Imagine if I could just simply move a physical couch to the side and drop, say, a virtual couch in its place and see the renovated look without any physical effort involved. And that's honestly what's happening. If you see the evolution of AI, I'd probably say the detect and understand had an underlying AI evolution of 2D image recognition, 2D image manipulation, a lot of utility value that came out of it. And the next phase that's happening today as we speak, and I'll talk about it a little later, is 3D scene and object manipulation, understanding the environment around you with depth and the utility value that it brings to the table. But if you were to truly look at this trend, I'd say the camera with the AI and the computer vision behind it is today perhaps surpassing a human eye and a brain coordination in a lot of specific use cases, right? You've probably seen this already in the industrial side and still nascent. Having said that, utility value is being created. And Albert Einstein, about a century back, quipped, reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. The only reason why we all agree that there's this podium on the stage is because we share a persistent experience of it in our shared physical reality, right? And that's probably the reason why we agree. Now, imagine the new century just replace reality with digital, and you'd see that's exactly what perhaps we all are together as an ecosystem doing today, evolving the web from static to 2D web, that it was flat, into something that can superimpose into the space around us, create context, which is to our intent, to the space that we're in, and to the context that we want to probably discover the web in. And that's where we find utilitarian value. And I'm here today to probably present one such utilitarian use case that we at Avataar have been seeing around commerce, and a lot of ROI proposition that we're able to deliver here and now today on mobile devices, while perhaps getting ready, both from a consumer sophistication perspective as well as from a retail partner perspective, to take it to the next level of wearables once that inflection happens. Introducing contextual reality, that's what we call our platform. We think of this as not just augmenting, but manipulating. And what you see here is, if I were a consumer looking at a single purchase intent, right, I'd probably want to drop that into my space, and there's the erstwhile augmented reality use case that has probably shown ROI already in terms of transaction uplifts if you see the industry experience over the last 2 years. But the idea here is we are now literally thinking about removing consumer friction from digital shopping experiences today, right? If the consumer is at home and that's the context, you want them to search, browse, discover products within the camera. It shouldn't be a get into the camera, get back into the 2D web page and browse, right? So you'd see that we've introduced the entire catalog available for a consumer while they're looking at the context of a couple of products, maybe compare two products they're confused about, look at how does this look in my living space, and then make the purchase decision. Equally, you'd see that we go deep into contextual reality in terms of the functional feature discovery of products. We have primarily focused on commerce. Our key KPI is about driving more transactions as we bring this experience upgrade. And so creating consumer confidence, we've seen, is one of the key nuggets. It's the emotional hook to get consumers actually have the confidence to go ahead and make the purchase. And that's honestly what this does. It probably a feature that you saw on this television versus a brand that's competing is the reason why you made the decision in terms of transactions. And what we're honestly doing, ladies and gentlemen, is reimagining camera as a new homepage, right? Where we think the space that you're in is going to be dynamic very soon. It already is on a mobile phone today with 6 degrees of freedom. And there's a lot of utility value in rethinking through the home experience being this interactive dynamic space that you're looking at. And the reason is, for example, in this case, multiple different products. Imagine if I wanted to renovate my living space. This is my home, so virtually welcome everyone to my living space. But the idea here is I've just dropped a 3-seater, a single-seater couch on the side. I don't like, say, the existing coffee table in the center. I'm dropping another one on top of it, and now seeing the visualization of all these three products together. Idea being, it's not usually just a single product intent. There's also the impulse intent, a gateway experience perhaps, which has a lot of potential of driving impulse to purchase conversions in that funnel. And while you may be thinking that we're just doing digital upgrades, honestly, the context extends to the store. Because the context is the space that you're in. It doesn't matter whether you're in your home, whether in your store. And I'll just show you a couple of things that we're doing today on our platform. The idea of bringing the products to life, where, say, a product that I've found impulse in, I can just have digital overlays of information about the product features, perhaps a couple of videos informing me on certain key differentiators to make the decision. The other one that you saw is perhaps a similar product, either a price discount that you're looking for, or a similar feature functionality with a different brand that you're probably looking for. What we call this is honestly an infinite aisle. While you're limited to the physical experience of the shelf inventory in the store, the ability that you have with this technology is to add 3D overlays, digital overlays that bring the entire shelf of the digital inventory catalog to the store in what we call as an infinite aisle. Similarly, you could have combination aspirational looks, right? Think of this as a physical experience of walking through combination looks once you enter a store and getting aspired by one. Instead, what about an infinite aisle of virtual concepts of different products that you can purchase? And now, as you can see, these are dynamic, so you could maybe change one of them, one of the products, while keeping the rest of the combination. So there's a lot of dynamism in how you're thinking about it. Well, I know the M word is something that I shouldn't be using on the stage, but we are seeing a little bit of metaverse bubbles happen in the store already, where in a controlled environment, a headset could empower an experience which is very similar. You're in a life-size mall, literally, looking at aspirational living spaces, aspirational bedroom spaces, kitchen spaces, and perhaps starting your journey from that impulse gateway experience down below. And so, you would have heard of digital transactions, you would have heard of omnichannel, you would have heard of physical, you've heard of digitally led physical, but here's the time where we're now seeing physically led digital transactions, where a walk-in consumer is likely purchasing a digital transaction in the experience and the consumer journey that the physical store today has. And why all this? For this one slide, which is, it's not just about the utility value in terms of removing consumer friction and an experience upgrade if you were to think of shopping, but equally it's an ROI proposition that we're discovering has a lot of strength in it. It's early days. It's still perhaps 1% of catalog across marketplaces that we work with that are 3D enabled. But you can see that even within those early days, we're driving about 2 times uplift when compared to static 2D images, the carousel of images that you see on PDP pages today, into a 3D AR ready experience where you drop the couch into the context of your living space and then make a purchase decision. Equally, what you'd see is the third row, which is, once you go from a photorealistic and a responsive 3D experience into an interactive one, right? The camera is the home page, or the ability to look at color changes of an SKU, or perhaps recline a recliner or open a refrigerator door, you start seeing a lot more jump in the conversion rates. And that's the emotional connect. You also see the time spent going up from almost a minute to 4 minutes. This is about discovery happening on steroids and analytics that we haven't yet uncovered the potential of by any means. This is a compelling proposition, right? Everyone would agree it's revenue growth, it's perhaps cost savings, which we'll unveil very soon. But how do we really scale this? Because historically, the problem that the industry has had is the manual Hollywood-style CAD/CAM creation of 3D assets. It's time-consuming, it's cost-prohibitive, and except for the higher ASP products, would you even make ROI if you were to be spending $100 a model? Is a big question mark, right? How do you truly democratize 3D with that kind of a cost inhibitor to the experiences that we saw? And so this was honestly a prerequisite for us as we thought of the mission of reimagining visual discovery for commerce. And so what you see here is a tech that we're unveiling today, and my privilege to do that with this esteemed audience. But a 2D to 3D neural network, you would have heard of neural radiance fields. We've been on it for 4.5 years. I think that's where the universe conspired for us, in the sense that we probably got lucky picking the right AI platform. But this is a neural radiance fields. It allows for a consumer or a seller to simply walk around any product and convert a life-size equivalent of it. It also allows for a mesh export at the end, so that you can do a last mile editing, for example, opening a refrigerator door, or if you were to seriously think of an upper funnel experience, perhaps making a product personified with sunglasses and dancing, right? Who knows what you want to do when you think of the creativity upstairs. But that's effectively the proposition of the platform. I'm going to show you a couple of results which are fully automated. This works across surfaces and categories. As you can see, the fur on the teddy and some of the complexity that we're able to handle in a fully automated result. There could be some noise, especially on the bottoms. We do have minor last mile editing interfaces that allow you to quickly make this happen. This is AR ready, so we're not talking 2D to 3D, but 2D to AR, which is a low poly mesh, uniform mesh, unlike the photogrammetry issues, in case some of you have had experiences with the scan rigs and that expensive setup, which would not really work in terms of reusability. You can see the various different categories that are happening. We can handle high frequency today, which has been a historical problem in the space, and I think a big breakthrough that we've made, which can extend to human avatars very soon. So Charlie, we may be surprising you and get into the business that you thought we wouldn't get into. But you know, the other extreme use case that we are seeing come to life, which we may have never imagined, is portable living spaces, right? What if you could, similar to the object that I showed you, just do 3 rings of a video, capture of any space, your living space perhaps, and let it be portable with you, so that the next time that you visit a physical store and you like, say, a couch, how about just opening a camera, pointing your camera towards the couch, and then seeing that couch within your space. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the future that we are building towards. Please do visit us. We are live at booth 324 and would love to take Q&A. I'm running out of time, so I'd probably just end with a thank you. Appreciate the time.